Hello future tech leaders, I am Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A cloud foundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
Coming back to our agent offer, today we have, 3 more transactions that we are going to look. We have bank deposits, bank transfers and write checks. NetSuite also offers these 3 types of transactions. Again, remember, write checks is something that you are writing a check to a particular person. For me, a bank deposit is something whenever you're trying to, receive money in your bank account. Let's quickly see all these 3 transactions as well. We will be covering them in the relevant module as well. When we are doing an AP, we will see the bill payments. When we are doing order to cash, we will see the bank deposits. But if you are not using these 2 modules, then how to record it in NetSuite? These are the ways you get recorded. You do bank deposits and write checks. Let's just quickly see that. You go in transactions, bank write checks. As the name says, you are writing a check or you are actually doing a payment to your vendor or your employee or any person via check. This is basically the standard check form. You need to select your pay. Pay could be a vendor. It could be an employee. It could be any person against which you are doing the payment. It could be a customer as well. It could be anyone. I'm going to select, let's say, Raj Company for now. I'm paying Raj Company some certain amount of money. Alright, I'm going to select a bank. This Raj Company is assigned to a subsidiary. Let me just choose another one, maybe an employee. I'm going to select Absolve P. Not Absolve P is there in the system. Absolve P is in the system and that is where it was selected. See if I select on my employees. Absolve P is over here. This is for some reason. Let me find a relevant employee against which we can do this action. Give me a second. Let me just quickly create a vendor for you. Creating vendors, creating customers, there is a bit of a current. It's It is. Don't worry. We'll be covering that in more detail in the P2P and O2C. For now, I'm just creating this vendor. I can, show you how RH exports. Absolutely. This is not part of today's agenda session. I'm not going to go in detail here. But no problem, right? When you see procurement, you see the creation of vendor. When you see order to cash, you see the creation of customer. We will go through that in more detail. Alright, I've created this vendor called Verti really quick. I am going to reopen this page. We have to refresh my meeting. Transactions, bank rate checks. And I will select my vendor as Verti. Awesome. Now, as soon as I select my pay, you will notice that it should bring my subsidiary automatically. You notice that GDS Corp automatically came up from my vendor. I can select my bank account from which I need to pay this amount. Let's say, let me write. And here I can also select the Tata Bank account that I actually created today. Let's say I'm trying to pay this from my Tata Bank account. I can select that. If this is a check that needs to be printed from NetSuite, I can select to be printed over here. And I can print a check from NetSuite. If I don't want to do that, I can uncheck this. You have both the options available. These are the header information. You can put the date, currency amount. And I'm not going to be going to the details of all these fields over here. These are all custom fields that candidates have created on this form. This is something that you will not see on a regular write check form. This is all a training account mess. I'm not going to discuss that. Like you can see date of birth. Now, what does date of birth? It's on write check form. Just ignore everything over here. Just quickly jump onto expenses and items. Here you can select the expense account against which you are doing this payment. Again, similar concept. You have to select the expense account that, like we did on our journal entry form. Maybe we are paying this expense for telephone, right? I'm going to select telephone expense. I'm going to select my amount. Let's say 400. And I can select again. On the expense side, I can also select the department against which I made this payment. Let's say admin class location. Similar concept on each transaction. You have this ability to assign it to a particular department, class, and location. If you don't want to do this, you can keep it, blank. But I just wanted to reiterate that it is available over here. Once you have entered the expense, you simply save this. And now this write check transaction is created. And if I show you the GL impact, you will notice that the bank account is credited and expense account is debited. You could essentially do this transaction via journal entry as well. You have that option. But NetSuite offers this write check feature transaction as well. To do such, a recording of transactions. Write check is a transaction that you can use if you're not using the API module. Any questions on write checks? There is an option. If we click on Y, the check will be ticket cancelled. Exactly. It's going to create a reversal entry and the check is going to be cancelled. That's right. And one more thing. When we have edit option, there is a multiple boxes. Is there right? By seeing those boxes, how do you know that? You know stand custom forms, you know standard forms. Right. Again, good question. When you click on that field, help you will realize that. Like, let's just wait this page to reload again. Right. When you click on this, notice that it says, this is a custom field created for your account. The field help would tell you that. Use and the field ID would also reflect that. When I click on this standard period, you will see that there is no custom field option over here on the ID. You can identify this from that as well by clicking on this. You see, we can see the ID. This is it means. If we have ID, by clicking on this, we can say that the custom form, there is no ID, there is just a standard form. Right. The standard fields would have their own standard IDs. Like if I click on currency, you see, it's currency. It's not saying custom body or something like that. It has a very valid field name in itself. This is how you can easily identify it. Alright. Any other questions on the write checks in itself? Like, from the conceptual perspective, like, is it clear why we do write checks? Because we don't want to use AC module. That's all. It is clear for me. Perfect. Let's quickly review the next two parts as well. We have bank transfers and bank deposits. Let's see that. You go in transactions bank, make deposits and transfer funds. We'll see the deposits. It's similar to, write check. It's a typical, opposite transaction. When you are receiving money in your bank account, you would be using the deposit feature of NetSuite. Here you will select your bank account in which you are receiving the money. And here in the other deposits, you will select your income account or whatever account that you need to credit. Let's say, 699. This is an income. I'm going to select my income account. Maybe, let's say interest income. Bank gave us some interest income. I'm going to select my income account. I can select my payment method, how I receive this payment, maybe via check cash or maybe EFT, whatever. I'm going to select cash. And again, you can assign a department, class and location to this entry as well that we have been seeing a lot in all our transactions. Again, the rest of the stuff is all clear. You see it, the date memo posting period, bank account. Once you verify this, you simply save it. The only important thing here is the accounting entry that will be created. Previously, we were crediting our bank account. Now we are debiting our bank account because we are receiving a deposit. I'm sure you are aware of the concept of deposit, where you actually receive money from the customer, right? Or from any other sources. Correct. Debits your bank account. Here you see bank account is debited and my income account is credited. Since I do not have AR module at this point in time, I'm directly recording my deposits using this bank deposit feature. Any questions on this? Like from a conceptual perspective, from a functional perspective something. Here we received the cash. Then we deposited the deposit, something cash, and check. We receive the check and we deposit those in our bank account. But one thing here, we supposed to be received the check. Maybe in next 2 days or next 4 days. We were supposed to be received check or else cash from the customer. We need to deposit before we receive into our bank. Is there any option to select that we need to receive or else how old something else? That is something that we will be covering in the order to cash side, where you have this undeposited funds concept where you simply receive any unclear checks. And when you finally deposit it, that's where you come up on the screen and make a deposit. And we do have that feature available. Alright, awesome. We'll quickly move ahead on the transfers. Transfers, bank transfers again. Fairly straightforward concept where you are transferring funds from your one bank account to another bank account. You select your from account, let's say from Tata Bank account. It will be handed over internal, either customer, any other things. This is totally for the recording in your ERP system, that's all. It's not going to make any physical transfer. To record, let's say from your main bank account you transferred money to your secondary bank account. That's the transaction you can record using the bank transfers. And here I can, let's say, select, not to a customer. No. This is nothing related to customer. This is just internal department reporting. Let's say, if I transferred money from my Tata Bank account to my Party Cash Bank account, I can select, from and to select the date, let's say amount of 50. Now this two bank account is basically in INR. You notice that the exchange rate automatically populated. Based on that, your amounts were automatically changed. I think someone has entered a very highly optimistic exchange rate. But this is all test account. But you will notice that automatically the amounts will be changed. And based on that, you simply, just save it. You can also change the amount as well if you feel like. Like, let's say in terms of INR, if this is not the right amount, you can change it to 500. And notice that the exchange rate will automatically be updated. Right. Whatever amount it is like 550, you can automatically change to something else. Based on that, you simply save this transaction. And now this is just going to record, a debit and credit in your bank account. If you see the G, it'll impact, you see Tata Bank account is credited. And your, petty cash account is now debited. This is the accounting entry that will happen over here. We're probably sitting here in the represent the 50 liter of storage company or Kanda. Let's see. There you go. And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.